Hi, this is Russell Stannard from teachertrainingvideos.com. Lots of you asked me, how can we combine a webcam with a PowerPoint presentation? And I'm going to show you how you can do that. The quickest way you can do it is in a tool like Camtasia. That's what I use, but there's some great little features that we can use to position the cam in different places, and also to put a frame around the camera, which is something else I also do. So let's get straight into it. How to use Camtasia to have a PowerPoint presentation alongside a webcam. Really hope you like the video. If you do, please share it, please like it, and as always, please comment on it. Now you can combine recording the screen of your computer using Camtasia and include the webcam, just like I'm doing now with you. And to do that, all you need to do basically is to kind of record the screen. I'm just going to open up Camtasia Recorder onto the screen here. I can turn the camera on here, but just a little tip, when I do a recording, I never record full screen. There's really no need to. I tend to just click here and choose the area that I want to record. So I would kind of mark the area of the PowerPoint as such. And the reason I do it this way is that it just gives me a lot more control over the actual recording. So for example, I can start, so let's just do a couple of moments just to explain to you. So I can click on the button, I can do the recording, blah, 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 click on pause, and then I can jump to the next screen, okay, and then continue. Again, just resume, and then blah, 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 and then stop, and then click on the next one. So it gives me much more control, rather than if I got it full screen, I can stop and start it and then just carry on. And it really doesn't make any difference, because when you make that full screen, because there are so many pixels these days in an image or in a video, that basically it really won't matter when you kind of blow it up. Obviously, what we need to do though is when we do this recording, I'm going to quickly show you now, is to actually combine both the screen capture and the webcam. Now I'm going to have to turn my own webcam off while I demonstrate this. So what I've got here is Camtasia is open on the screen. I've marked the area here of the recording that I want to do. I can make that a little bit bigger if I want, if I just want to squeeze out to the maximum. Okay, I will go through a little bit later some more details about getting the screen sizes right. But now if I click on the camera, it's now going to ask me which camera do you want to use. The camera won't actually appear on the screen, but don't worry, it is recording me. And all I would do now is to click on the record button and start to actually record, and which I'm going to do. So I'm just going to do a couple of screens. So again, blah, 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 blah. So I'm talking about this screen, click on the pause button, and then I can jump to the next one. So just double click on it, then resume again, blah, 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 blah. As you can see, I'm in the webcam here, but you'll see when we actually produce the video that we can resize the webcam and make it as big or as small as we want. And then I can come down again to another one, just do a final page, blah, 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 blah. So you can see again that I can do that. I've done 3 places. I'm going to click on stop now. And if I bring this onto the screen here, you'll see now that the video plays, and I'm here on the right hand side. And this is just literally what we call a quick view, just to see, right, are you happy with the recording? As soon as I'm happy with the recording, what I can do now is actually produce that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on save and edit, because I want to save the video, but I want to edit it straight away. So I click on that button there. It's going to ask me first of all to save the original video, so I'm going to call this test video with cam, and then it's going to open up. So if we click onto this page now, it's now going to actually open up the editor, and I'll see that the video is now inside the editor, and this is where it gets interesting. I'll bring the editor screen over to the other side. I've actually got 2 screens here, see, so okay, so this is the editor. Now you can see the webcam here in the corner, and it's quite interesting because you can do quite a lot of things in terms of the size of the screen. I, for example, don't do a half and half, so I tend to have one, and what I can do here is obviously I just click on the one that I want to work with. So I'm just going to work with the actual webcam. I can move that webcam around on the screen. I can resize it, okay, and have it at a certain size if I want to. But I can also do the same with the actual presentation. So I can click on that presentation, for example, and make that smaller if I want to, and then have the webcam up there. Okay, now there's loads of combinations here that I can use. Okay, there's lots of different ways that I can work to make sure that I've got the webcam on the screen and myself on the screen at the same time. Now, not only can I move it around, but I can crop it. So if I click here, and if I think to myself, right, well, I don't need so much space on that side, so I'm going to make that a bit smaller, I'm going to make that a bit smaller, and I'm going to make that a bit smaller. So I can actually crop the webcam, then come back and then resize after I've cropped it as well. So I've kind of always got quite a few options in terms of the way I want to work. Now that's one possibility. That is that you're recording the screen of your computer, you bring in the two tools together, you've got your screen capture and you've got your webcam. You've kind of got to decide how you do it. Now obviously the way that I tend to work is quite different. I don't do a half and half, because really the most important thing is of course the presentation, though yes I want to be on the screen, so I would often kind of put myself like that on the screen. I'm going to show you a few other possibilities now. Now one thing that I really like to do is to actually put a frame around myself, and you can do that in Camtasia. So you can come down here on the left hand side and go down to visual effects, and then you just drop a border on. And what I like to do with the border is choose a color for the border. You've got the colors here, and I just click here and I normally grab the color that's actually in the presentation. So I might choose this color here, for example, and then I'll kind of move it so I get a nice thick result there. Okay, and that now is obviously well, it kind of looks nice because it combines the color of the border with the actual presentation. It's just a little tip that can make your presentations look a bit more professional. One of the biggest problems with doing a recording that includes you on the screen and the screen itself is to make sure that you get the sizes right. What you want to try to do is record at the same dimensions. It doesn't have to be the same size, but at the same dimensions as the final output. Now if we look at most screens at the moment, if we're going to put something onto YouTube, normally now we're talking about a ratio of 16:9. So when you do a recording, what you want to try to do is actually record at 16:9 ratio. Therefore, if you make it bigger or you make it smaller and then upload it onto YouTube, it will look perfect. It's really, really important. And I'm going to take you through this process. This is a little bit more advanced, but those of you thinking of combining the webcam and a PowerPoint presentation, for example, this is really important if you want it to look good. So let me just try and take you through that process. If I, for example, click on to this script over here onto the recorder, I can choose any of these sizes, and they are all kind of automatically set at a ratio of 16:9. So I'm going to choose this one here, and immediately you're going to notice that the screen now is kind of bigger than the recording area is actually bigger than the area that I want to record. So you've got two possibilities here. The first possibility is to try to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so you can do that by just clicking here and then making the actual screen bigger, so that now the capture size is in line with the actual screen. And what you can do is lock the ratios and then just pull that down a little bit. Okay, now the reason that you're going to do that is that you've now got the perfect ratio of 16:9, and that means that when I then bring that into Camtasia, it will be at the perfect ratio, and I can then resize it in Camtasia to make it slightly smaller or slightly bigger, but the ratio will be perfect. Nothing will be warped. Everything will look the way it's meant to do. So I'm going to just show you this now. So if I click here and just do a quick test, so just going to record a couple of so blah 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 test. Okay, then we're going to jump to another screen, carry on. I normally click on the pause button and then do the next one, and then I'll do it again. I'll normally jump to the next screen and click on the resume. That's the way that I tend to work. So I use the pause button a lot as I move between screens. Once I've done that, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to stop this. Okay, now what I'm going to do, remember, as soon as you stop, you get like a quick preview. I can see that I'm on the screen. That's all working fine. I'm going to click on save and edit again. Okay, so we're going to call this one test video cam 2. Test video cam 2. I'm going to save that. And again, that's going to come straight into the editing window in Camtasia. Now, I've already got one video on the screen, so I'm going to delete that off, all right, that original one that we just done, and I'm going to concentrate on this second one. I'm going to drag that onto the screen. Same thing's going to happen as always. We've got the recording and we've got the screen, but what I'm going to do now is come up to here and go to the project settings, and I'm going to set those project settings to be a standard size that we would normally use on YouTube, or if we're putting up a video. And at the moment that would be this 1920 by 1080. So if I click on that, and this is the great thing, if I now increase the size of that, so I'm going to select both the things at the moment and just simply drag that, move that onto the screen and make sure that it now comes out full size. Okay, now I'm going to move the webcam into the position that I want to do that. So again, now I'm going to select the webcam on its own now. Just move that, sorry, along here, and then make sure I've only got the webcam selected, sorry. I'm going to move that along. One thing that you can do if you want to get, sometimes to get that problem, is just click on the other channel where the PowerPoint presentation is and just lock it. And that will mean now that you can move this around. Okay, now I can really get a nice kind of webcam size, okay? And what again I'm going to do in this particular case is that I'm going to come down to my visual effects and I'm going to click on border. Just going to drop a border on there, click over here on the right hand side, click, get the right color, and then I'm going to thicken that border so it kind of combines with the presentation. That looks really professional. That's the sort of thing that I like to do. Now the power of that is the fact that because we recorded at an original ratio of 16:9, when we make it bigger or smaller, nothing is warped and nothing's changed around, and that really makes a difference to the quality of the presentation. I'm going to show you one final trick that you can do, another way, completely different way of recording a presentation, okay? And this is a technique that I do use sometimes. The way I'm going to show you to do this is probably not the right way, but it's simply the way that I've always done it. I'm actually a trainer for Techmsith Camtasia here in the UK, but there is always different ways of doing different things. But I'm just going to show you this, what I do. What I often do is I record blank. I just simply record completely blank onto the screen. So I'm just going to click on here and I will record my presentation, particularly if I'm doing a short video. I do this. So I'm doing my little recording, blah 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 blah, just talking, especially if it's something short, maybe 30 seconds, a really quick video. I click on stop. So all I've done is actually record a blank screen. As I said, I'm sure there are other ways of doing this, but it's simply the way that I do it. I then click again on save and edit. This is going to be our third test. Okay, test video cam. Okay, of course you can bring in more than one video at the same time. You're not limited to just using one video. When the editor opens, if you want to bring in the other videos, then you can just simply go on import and grab any other recordings that you've made and just bring them in. Okay, so you're not limited to one, and then of course you would just drag them onto the timeline after the first video. For this example, I'm going to do what I did before. I'm just going to delete everything off the screen. I'm going to bring this empty one on. Okay, and again, first thing I'm going to do is to resize this to, it doesn't really make any difference actually now because it's black anyway. It really doesn't make any difference. So what I'm going to do is just lock that bottom one, and I'm just going to click on here. I'm going to make this a lot bigger, so I'm going to bring this up to a size that I want. Remember, if I really want to, I can click here and crop it, kind of crop it the way I really want it to be. And again, then I can click back and resize, make it even bigger if I want to. Right, now in theory you could almost do this half if you wanted to. I really don't see the point in doing that, and it's not quite going to work. You'd have to crop a bit more, okay, if you wanted to do that. But what I'm suggesting is, and then we'll leave it like about that for now, is that here on this screen, so now I'm going to lock the webcam, so I'm going to turn off the lock here, I'm going to lock the webcam, and now what I do is actually just add the text up onto the screen on the right hand side here. And I just simply do that. If I'm only going to do a short presentation, then I can do that, and I can obviously have one screen and put my presentation here. Okay, so I can just, and obviously I'd have to listen to what I'm saying and make sure that at the right moment then I would put up another one. So let's imagine that I get to this point and I start talking about something else. Then I would bring that onto the screen. Now I do this quite often, particularly as I've said, when I'm working with a really short presentation and I don't even want to bother to do it in PowerPoint, and I will often do that as a way. Okay, so hopefully now you understand the tricks of the trade. I'm sure there's more, but that's basically the way I work, and I've had a lot of people asking me, how do I bring the webcam onto the screen with a PowerPoint presentation? Showed you a few ideas, showed you there. Very important is to think about the screen size, to think about where you're going to place the webcam. Really hope that was a useful video. If it was, please like it, please share it. And if you've got any questions, I do know Camtasia very, very well. Leave them in the comments section and I'll do my best to answer them. And thank you very much. I really hope you found that video useful. If you did, please come to teachertrainingvideos.com. Lots more free videos. There's different technologies that you can look at here at the top. Just choose your section and then you'll find all the videos below. There's two ways of really keeping up with my work. One is to sign up to the newsletter. If you sign up to the newsletter, you get all the updates on the webinars I run, the short courses I run, any new videos that I've created, any blog posts that I've written, as I do several blog posts. And the other way to keep up with me, particularly if you want the backdated material, and there really is a lot of it, is to sign up to the YouTube channel. And if you do that, make sure you click on the bell. That way, when the new videos are uploaded, you'll be warned about them. Finally, if you do want to contact me, you'll see that I do lots of talks all over the world, then please you can contact me from the web page. I do one-to-one online training, which works really well. We use Zoom for that. That's great. And also do some online training with groups of teachers. And of course, if you want me to come do a presentation for you or a workshop, then as well, please contact me. And thank you very much.